So here's the Harb-13 out to mesh. So this is the polygonal version, as you see right here, where all the parts exploded. Just as I said before, the toes get broken down to just one toe because it's just going to be spread out for duplicated again for the rigging process. The creating of the toes, of all the toes initially, was just for the initial concept. But so here you have it. The SDF is still in this file. It'll pop up in a second, but you get to see the actual mesh, right? This is what it looks like with, let's see the wires. There you go. That's the SDF in the background. So you can see the head. The head takes the most, right? But you see how it's finally stripped down. This is about 250,000 polys, just about. All right, after stripping, and you see all the hollow spaces and stuff like that. All right, very manageable, very easy. As well as, let's see, what other cool things we have? Oh yeah, a special unit here, right? So you see the stripping. So this is not Blender stripping, interpolating the or doing like the optimized mesh thing that it does. This is actually what the actual mesh looks like. So this is all the polygons in the mesh. So you see the hollow spaces. All right. Oopsie. What did I just do? All right. So you see all the hollow spaces and gaps. Like there's a whole wall missing here, which is good. Wall of polygons, which is very good. Let's see. And the head wasn't difficult. The head was just, it's always just tricky doing the head because I like to keep as many elements in the head as possible, which is like all of them. I don't like to separate the head at all, which always winds up like, so I already know the antenna, even though I do the antenna sharp, it's always going to come out slightly rounded. Nothing else is going to come out rounded, but the antenna, because it's such a struggle in that area. But I'm fine with that because that actually works into, it's like I anticipate that, so that works into the final form, and everything else turned out just right, and all the mirroring and everything. Let's see this guy here. We already saw this in the other video, and let's see. The reason why I want to show this vid is because I recorded it before for the making of the Wild Walker, but it's a struggle for the video recorder because everything, all the mesh making processes are on GPU. So the video recorder, which is on GPU, is like, it always tries to interfere with the CUDA stuff. So here you have the nice cupped geometry, right? And so you can see the hollowed out aspects of the mesh, right? So this is great for rendering. Perfecto, actually. Perfect for rendering. Oh, and that's the pelvis? Yeah, here's our simple pelvis and our eye, not our eye, but one of our sensors. Right, you see how hollowed out it is. You see how simplified the mesh is, right? Compared to, let me see the final form. Is it gonna load up? Let's see what happens. I just clicked on that, so is it gonna jack? Oh my gosh. There it is. Because it's gotta load in the SDF. All right, so here's the pelvis. So it's gonna go slower now because the SDF is actually in viewport now. And one more. Some of the little lower section ankle things, right? And our cupped forms. Let's not do that. Let's click on somebody so we can rotate better, please. There you go. And let's take a look inside there. Right, so we have our nice cupped forms. It's just for rotation over our ball sockets and stuff. All right, and just see what that mesh looks like. Okay, so you guys get this is basically like a sneak peek, right? Because the next step is I'll assemble it and rig it, but the next animation will be like just for the test, the rigging and the test animation, which may be a little bit in time lapse since it takes maybe a little bit too long, and it's not going to be a tutorial. It's just me recording myself walking through it, going through the test. Okay, All right, so hopefully this is entertaining. And let me see if it pops back in again. The SDF. So the mesh is like, we're so easy. The SDF is like, we're so heavy. And this is what it winds up looking like. It's not as complicated as it seems there. It's just because everything's mirrored, right? And it's just moving slow because it's literally every aspect of the SDF is in the file right now. But you can see the mesh. You can see the mesh compared. You can see the mesh version, which is the darker version, in comparison to the high res. My main thing was was to capture all the reactor area back here. That stuff needed to be sharp, and it's sharp. And I already knew everything else was going to come in, but I was just eyeballing this. This was my my goalpost, right? Was the reactor area. And let me see. Yep. So everything turns out fine. And then once rigged and surfaced, and then is working on the shot for him. All right. Okay. Hopefully this is interesting. All right.